All right, while we do a little reshuffle, it is my great pleasure to invite to the stage for a closing speech, and then we will go into the kickoff, so don't worry, we're not done yet. I hope you still have some stamina there. For a closing speech, Ambassador André Carstens, Head of Mission of the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Please.
Well, first of all, I should deserve the applause. So, dear friends, good afternoon, Shuvo Operano. As we conclude the first session of today's Agriculture and Agro-processing program, Growing Together in the Land of Opportunity and Agro-investment Potential, please allow me to share a few words of reflection. First and foremost, thanks to you all, especially to the Honorable Secretary of Agriculture Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Emdad Ulamiya. To our other speakers, moderator, policy leaders, business leaders, and participants for contributing to what has been as insightful and forward-looking discussion. Your expertise and perspectives have added great value to this summit already. What we witnessed over the past hour is a clear and collective message. Bangladesh is serious about transforming its agri-food sector, and it is doing so with a bold, inclusive, and investor-friendly approach. Here are some of the many takeaways from our session. First, the strategic priorities of the Bangladesh government are to diversify, to modernize, and commercialize agriculture. Secondly, the amount is huge of opportunities for investments in agro-processing, seed systems, value-added production, and climate-smart solutions. Thirdly, we had direct interaction with regulatory authorities who shared valuable insights on doing business in Bangladesh, from land access to tax and trade policies. These elements are key. So this kind of open dialogue between investors and policymakers is exactly what is needed to build confidence and momentum. We did a bit of the same in our country. As the Netherlands, we are proud to be a trusted partner in the journey. Our long-standing collaboration with Bangladesh in areas such as horticulture, seed development, circular agriculture, logistics, and food systems is grounded in shared values,
Can I have some more?
Innovation, resilience, and sustainability. Today's session has reaffirmed that this partnership is evolving into a dynamic, future-facing platform. Together, we are not just investing in agriculture, we are investing in a broader transformation that embraces innovation and technology transfer, bringing in state-of-the-art machinery, smart farming tools, and digital agricultural solutions to exchange efficiency and productivity. Global partnerships that connect local producers with international expertise, ensuring sustainability, competitiveness, and long-term market relevance. Research and development cooperation to accelerate breakthroughs in seed quality, protected cultivation, processing techniques, and climate resilience. Compliance with global standards, including food safety, traceability, and environmental regulations, especially to meet European market requirements. Value addition across the supply chain, enabling producers to move beyond raw commodities to high-margin export-ready products. And most importantly, a joint commitment to boost productivity, generate rural employment, and elevate Bangladesh agri-food sector onto the global stage. Looking ahead, as we now move into the next parts of today's program, focused on partnerships, finance, and matchmaking, I encourage you to proceed in the spirit of openness, curiosity, or craziness, as Dr. Yunus has framed it. It's exciting to see that more than 75 Bangladesh companies applied for about 500 matchmaking meetings with 32 foreign companies. We could arrange only 100 of these. So let me encourage you to go on. At least you can put your business card in the hands of the company of your liking, or any other entrepreneur in this room. This is your golden opportunity. The Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands remains committed to supporting meaningful collaboration between Netherlands and Bangladesh stakeholders and to facilitating investments which are impactful, inclusive, future-proof, and future-ready. Thanks again to our partners at the Ministry of Agriculture, BIDA, our speakers, and especially to all of you who participated with insight and passion. Let us build further on the connections we've made and are making today. Let us keep our conversation going as the crops are growing, and let us continue working together in and for a land full of, may I say again, crazy opportunities. Thanks to you very much. Dhanavat.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Carstens, for your valuable insights. Please stay with me on the stage, if you can, for the kickoff of two significant partnership programs: the Bangladesh-Netherlands Seed Partnership, Seed Sector Partnership, and the Greenhouse Impact Cluster Initiative. For the first kickoff, I invite to the stage Mr. Willem Schoustra, Director of Seed NL. Please give him an applause. And Mr. Mohammed Nazrul Islam of the Bangladesh Seed Association. Please join us on the stage. First of all, I would like to give the word to Willem to explain the significance of the seed sector partnership between the Netherlands and Bangladesh. A few minutes, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. And dear Secretary Mohammed Emdad Ulamian, good to see you again. Dear Ambassador Hendrik Carstens, also good to see you again. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be back in Bangladesh and be present here during the well-organized Bangladesh Investment Summit. This summit is important for both the Netherlands and Bangladesh, for agriculture and agro-processing, but in particular also for seeds. My name is Willem Schoustra, and I'm the director of Seed NL. Seed NL is a public-private partnership between the following partners. It's the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Netherlands Ministry of Agriculture, together with the private sector, the branch organization for seeds in the Netherlands, Plantum, and the Dutch Potato Association. And our common ambition is to establish multi-stakeholder partnerships between the Netherlands and countries like Bangladesh to partner up in strengthening the seed sector together. Seed NL coordinates all available Dutch knowledge and expertise by our government institutes, or private sector, or research institutes, and civil society to support the ambitions of countries developing this seed sector. Besides Bangladesh, we currently have partnerships in Nigeria, Ethiopia, India, and working towards in Egypt, Mozambique, and Uganda. The Netherlands seed sector is world leader in vegetable seeds and potato seeds, and the Bangladesh private sector is developing rapidly, providing quality seeds for the Bangladeshi farmers and also beyond. A strong foundation between both countries for building a partnership on seed sector development. A resilient seed sector that meets farmers' demands and anticipates on climate change and global food security challenges. The collaboration started in 2023, when the Netherlands, through Seed&L, conducted an in-depth assessment of Bangladesh seed sector in collaboration with the Netherlands Embassy and the Bangladesh Ministry of Agriculture. With experts of Wageningen University also present here today, the study identified key investment opportunities, including strengthening the Plant Variety Protection Act, also mentioned by Eurocham, improving the seed business environment, and facilitating import and export of high-quality seeds. Following the study, the Bangladesh Seed Partnership was launched in November 2024 to drive the partnership and collaboration in seed sector any further. Today, we inaugurate the Bangladesh-Netherlands Seed Platform, a hub for stakeholders to address sector challenges, foster partnerships, and take concrete actions for a thriving Bangladesh seed sector. This platform was be able to further enhance the Bangladeshi seed sector, providing those seeds needed by farmers and develop a roadmap towards a strong enabling environment. Dutch seed breeders are willing to broaden up their investment portfolio to Bangladesh with more climate-resilient varieties and provide their expertise. Therefore, I think this Bangladesh Investment Summit is the perfect place to sign an LOI, a letter of intent, between Seed&L and our partner, the Bangladesh Seed Association, witnessed by the Dutch government through a very supporting embassy and the Bangladeshi government represented by the Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. I would say let's work together, let's join forces. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Willem, for giving this short presentation about the significance of this project. I would like to ask you to take the seats, and I would also like to invite the Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture to witness the signing on the stage as well. So now that we're moving into the signing between Mr. Willem Schoustra, Director of Seed&L, and Mr. Mohammed Nazrul Islam, representing the Bangladesh Seed Association. There we go. And I think maybe for some enthusiasm that you all have for the future of this significant project as well, please give a round of applause. I will just double check whether the signatures are really there. They are. I assure you, this project is now officially launched, and some more signatures need to be put there.
There we are, right?
And no signing ceremony, of course, is complete without taking a group picture. This. One more round of applause, please. We wish Seed&L and Bangladesh Seed Association, and of course the whole seed sector in Bangladesh, all the best with their plans for the seed sector partnership. Now I can ask, one more picture. I may join in front, please. We can stand here, maybe. Here or here? In front, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Willem Schoustra and Mr. Mohammed Nazrul Islam. I think I learned in my 1.5 years here that there's never too many pictures being taken in Bangladesh, which of course is very rightfully so, to mark this significant moment. If I can request Mr. André Karstens and the Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture to stay on the stage with me, please. Yes, Please do. And we're moving into the second official kickoff. And another exciting new chapter filled with opportunities for growth and collaboration. The Greenhouse Impact Cluster Initiative is a cooperation between Dutch Greenhouse Delta, representing the Dutch ecosystem of horticultural expertise, and the Bangladeshi company ACI Agribusiness. In total, 6 Dutch companies and 2 Bangladeshi organizations are part of this initiative. Unfortunately, Dutch Greenhouse Delta representatives could not be with us here today. Therefore, I would like to start a short video message that Mr. Gert Dral, Director of Asia Pacific of Dutch Greenhouse Delta, wants to share with you. And while we're getting the video up on the screen, please, yes. I would like to also invite Mr. Ansari, President and CEO of ACI Agribusiness, to join us on the stage, please.
Dear attendees at the Investment Summit, good afternoon. My name is Gert Dral, and I am Director of Dutch Greenhouse Delta, and in particular for Southeast Asia and China. And unfortunately, today, due to personal circumstances, I can't be in Dhaka in person. So I use this medium for a brief speech. Dutch Greenhouse Delta has been established in 2018 by top players in the Dutch horticulture industry. These companies wanted to expand their business abroad and set up cooperation for that through founding of Dutch Greenhouse Delta. Dutch Greenhouse Delta, or DGD, has 2 important goals: promotion of the Dutch horti industry abroad and supporting other countries to develop modern agriculture locally and setting up cooperation with local companies. In 2022 and 23, DGD, together with a local consultant from Bangladesh called EDGE, conducted a study into the possibilities for modern horticulture in Bangladesh. The assignment for that was given by the Enterprise Agency of the Netherlands and the Dutch Embassy in Dhaka. After finalization of that study, the Dutch government offered a subsidy for the development of a demonstration greenhouse in Bangladesh. So for designing, construction and operating the greenhouse during a period of 3 years. In that greenhouse, tomatoes will be grown and local staff will be educated and trained. So at the end of 2023, under the coordination of Dutch Greenhouse Delta, a consortium of Dutch and Bangladeshi companies had been formed. The other companies are ACI from Bangladesh, a future owner and operator of the greenhouse, Agrocel VDH from the Netherlands as greenhouse designer and construction company. Also from the Netherlands, Hogendoorn Automation for supplying computers in the greenhouse. Bayer de Ruiter Seeds from the Netherlands for supplying seeds. Koppert Biologic from the Netherlands for nutrients and biological treatment of the crops. And Lentis from the Netherlands for education and training. And also Ghazipur Agriculture University as partner of Lentis for education and training in Bangladesh. The past period, the so-called inception phase for the development of the greenhouse took place. And today, during this summit, it's an honor and a great pleasure for me to announce that the start of the construction works for the greenhouse will be end of coming summer.
No need.
Begin 2026, the first crop can be grown and the first education lessons can start. To my opinion, this project will be an excellent example of how to grow vegetables in an efficient way in difficult climate circumstances, and also a good example for cooperation between the Netherlands and Bangladesh. I wish all of us a successful project, and for you today, I wish you an enjoyable summit. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gertral, who unfortunately could not be here today, but I'm sure he will visit Bangladesh soon. Now for the official kickoff, I would like to invite you all to take an official picture to mark this, this event. And maybe meanwhile, I can ask Mr. Ansari, thank you so much for joining us on the stage, for a quick reaction, what you expect from this project and the significance.
Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Excellencies, honorable guest, partner, distinguished participant from home and abroad. Asia is proud to be one of the leading agriculture companies in Bangladesh, working across the entire food value chain, from crop to animal agriculture. Bangladesh has made remarkable progress in basic agriculture. Now the time has come to embrace precision agriculture, including greenhouse and vertical farming, to boost productivity and strengthen resilience against growing environmental challenges. The Mid-Tech Greenhouse project, which we are proudly launching today, will be a milestone, and it will enable SCI to demonstrate, improve agriculture practices, train potential entrepreneurs, and successfully produce high-quality cherry and beef tomatoes, even in Bangladesh in hot and humid environmental conditions. We extend our sincere appreciation to RVO, the government of Netherlands, the Embassy of Netherlands in Dhaka, DGD, Agrosar, Hogenden, Bayer, Copart, Lentis, and Gazipur Agriculture University for their valuable partnership in turning their vision into the reality. We wish to continue success in Mid-Tech Greenhouse project and the Bangladesh Investment Summit. Thank you for your patient hearing. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ansari, for your insightful words. I think a truly exciting new chapter as well for the horticultural sector in Bangladesh. Please join us here in front for a group picture. And can I ask from the audience another very loud round of applause to mark the beginning of the Greenhouse Impact Initiative. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the stage. This marks the end of the first part of this session on agriculture and agri-processing. Thank you so much, Secretary. So this marks the end of the first part of this session on agriculture and agro-processing. I think that we all agree that there is a lot to talk about, and that means that there's a lot to do and that there's a lot of opportunities. I hope you find it all as inspiring and insightful as I did myself. I want to thank you all for your participation here, and I have good news. It's not over yet. We're moving into the second part of this agri-investment session and turn to the breakouts to have an opportunity to delve into a bit more details. As I already felt in the room, there's a little bit of a need for further discussion. So, I will share the logistics with you, and I request everyone who has registered for Breakout Session 1, investing in the future of food, to stay here, in the Grand Ballroom. You don't need to go anywhere. And everyone who has registered for the second Breakout Session number 2, called Growing Smart, Climate Resilient and Profitable Agriculture in Bangladesh, to please go to the Crystal Ballroom, which is in that direction. In case you need any support, please ask one of our volunteers with the orange lanyards as well. Meanwhile, also for those who have received confirmed matchmaking session, and they received their schedule as well, you are requested to be in Ruby Room at your given time slots. And important to be there on time, as there is a lot of different matchmaking going on. There are signs and volunteers to help you, to guide you to Crystal Ballroom and Ruby Room. So I will repeat. Breakout Session 1 on Agri-finance will take place here. Breakout Session 2 will take place in Crystal Ballroom. In the foyer, you can enjoy a cup of coffee or tea. And please note that in the interest of time, we will immediately go into the breakout sessions. And they will start in a few minutes. I hope you will all respect that. Once again, thank you all for your active participation, your interest in investing in the Bangladesh agricultural sector. Let's cultivate success together. Thank you and wish you all a fruitful rest of the afternoon.
Thank you very much. Can we start? It's already getting late. I know that it is quite a long day for many of you that you have been attending this summit from the very beginning of the day. This breakup session is on financing agriculture and agriculture processing industries. And as we are listening to the deliberation of Mr. Arif of BIDA and Ms. Nuria, and a couple of things were highlighted that agriculture has been transformed. And one is simple statistics, particularly in the context of productive use of agricultural lands in Bangladesh. One simple statistics can help you to understand that intensity of cropping has increased by 2 times, meaning that net agricultural land is used twice. That means we are using it properly twice the net land area. So that means that we are producing more. And as if you are aware that the production has been doubled, tripled over time, over the past 30, 40 years in Bangladesh. What has really happened? We understand that the technology has made a breakthrough in our production, but also this quality of seed, adoption of a standard seed, that has also contributed to, more importantly, the transformation in agriculture has taken place due to agriculture financing policy of the Bangladesh Bank, our central bank in Bangladesh. Because of their supply-leading financing strategies, this finance is now available to the farmers for cultivation of varieties, different varieties of agricultural product. So let me just very quickly, I know all Bangladeshis present here are aware of the financial system in Bangladesh, that we have a system that comprises of public sector banks and private sector bank, as well as some specialized bank. We have got 6 public sector banks, and then we have some 62 private banks. That includes 33 traditional private banks. But with this, and then in addition to this, we have got 3 specialized banks, particularly of interest to many of you will be 2 agriculture development banks in Bangladesh. One is on the northern part of the country, which is known as Rajshahi Krishi and Agriculture Development Banks. On the other part of the country, the one that operates is Bangladesh Krishi Bank or Bangladesh Agriculture Development Bank. So how central bank is driving financing of agriculture development in Bangladesh? Particularly every year, central bank formulates agriculture finance policy for every year. That is, that policy includes targeted amount that to be invested in agriculture, in farming, in livestock, in fisheries, in forestry, and so on. So first thing, that targeted credit policy of the central bank is allowing the commercial banks and the development banks, particularly the agriculture development banks, to channel funds to farmers. So that is one part of the policy that is helping developing or financing the agriculture sector in Bangladesh. The second part that is this policy is driving at is diversifying the agricultural sector. That means developing through financing new quality or modern seeds, it is trying to diversify agricultural sector. Conventionally, our whole focus when we are talking about agriculture, our whole focus turns to basically crop or farming. But this diversification, the policy that focuses on diversifying this for agriculture, so that policy focuses on livestock financing, that policy focuses on fisheries financing, that policy focuses on financing new varieties of agricultural products. That's some of the issues that were talked about in the previous sessions. But as we could understand from the discussion in the previous session that I was listening to the deliberations, I could understand that the agriculture is going to change. We cannot just continue to modernize the way we are doing. It is transforming. It is transforming because we have a thriving middle-income group in this country. It has, as a result of that food processing, demand for food processing products has been also increasing. The quality, people are also focusing on the quality of product that consume. So there is that thriving middle-income group in this country, and also the financing strategy of the central bank has led to further advancement of agriculture. But then, just as one number that I would like to share, but despite this agriculture financing policy of the central bank, most of the credit flows to crop farming. It's around 45% of the total credit that went to financing crop. And that is obviously, and that is needed, because that not only that helps us producing what is needed for consumption, our daily consumption. Then around 25% of the total agricultural credit goes to livestock and fisheries, livestock and poultry. And particularly many of you, and our Bangladeshi citizens we are aware of it, but those of you who are present from other countries, you should be aware that particularly during the past 2 decades, there has been severe advancement in livestock production, in poultry production. Sometimes, obviously, with some kind of disease that poultry production was affected. Nevertheless, things have moved forward, even with the constraint. Then there is another sector that I have, is another set of institutions that have been financing this agriculture sector in Bangladesh. The group is known as microfinance institutions. This is another stream of institutions that have been financing. Some 730 plus licensed microfinance institutions have been operating in Bangladesh. And most of the in fact 80%, more than 80% of the microcredit goes for agriculture financing. So financing of agriculture is coming from both banking system, through the formal banking system, and also through microfinance institutions. The reason behind it is the policy of the central bank that requires that 50% of agricultural credit, maximum 50% of agricultural credit can be disbursed through bank microfinance institution linkage, and 50% should be distributed or disbursed through the bank branches. So directly by the bank 50%, and maximum it can be of 50% through bank microfinance institutions. That is one reason that we find that microfinance institutions have been playing a very significant role in agricultural financing in Bangladesh, because banks cannot really reach out to every corner of the country. So I think we will discuss that, but I know that one of our distinguished panelists, Ms. Tanja Smith, investment manager, agriculture, food sector, She will not be joining us in person. She will be joining us, and she has time constraint. So I would.
She is not now available.
Not available.
Now you can start this. Continue this journey.
Okay, but okay. So then I can continue for a minute. The one I would before asking is that diversification that I was talking about, the climate change that is affecting us, the thriving middle income class is changing the demand for agricultural products and high quality product. So therefore, there is given this demand, there is a huge demand for finance. The conventional financing strategy that Bangladesh Bank has been pursuing does not satisfy and will not meet the total demand. So there is a huge gap between the demand and the supply. So there is every potential for investment in this sector, considering the climate change, considering the demand for quality product, processed food in this country. I think the collaboration between Bangladesh and foreign investors can fill in the gaps, that is the gaps in demand for investment, considering the demand for products. With this, we have missed Ms. Tanja Smith. She cannot be connected. So may I now request Mr. Prasan Palaj Singh, Investment Officer, and Mr. Rick Ricord, Senior Associate Agribusiness Food and Water, FOEM, Netherlands. Yes? Yes, please. In the meantime, what I will be requesting you that after the deliberation of each of the panelists, if you have any question, you can just write down the question and send to us, and so that they can respond to your question. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks everyone. So my name is Rick Ricord. I work at FMO, the Dutch Development Bank, similar to our colleague Prashant that presented here earlier, and also my colleague Mark here. So we're with the three of us here, and we came actually here for a due diligence, firstly, of a Bangladeshi company. And I think as FMO, that's what we're really specialized at. We really finance local companies in emerging markets. And we have been doing that since 1970 already. And as Prashant mentioned, we have been investing in Bangladesh since 1985, I believe. So that's really quite long, and I think that makes it really interesting to work for FMO. So we really try to provide finance to companies that they cannot receive from local or commercial banks. So our financing really needs to be additional. It needs to bring benefits to the country. And we're really quite a large impact investor. So we have a portfolio of around 13 billion US dollars. We are actually for 51% owned by the Dutch state, but for the other 49%, we're owned by commercial parties. We have a mandate that is quite similar to other DFIs, such as IFC, DEG, or Proparco. So IFC is the part of the World Bank, DEG are the Germans, Proparco is the French, but we're the only one that is really privately financed, partly from a shareholder perspective. We also raise bonds on the international markets. They are AAA rated due to a guarantee from the Dutch state. So that allows us to kind of offer capital that is not cheaper. We try to offer market rates, but we at the same time do try to, as I said, offer capital that typically has a longer tenor or that is, not available because the local financial sector doesn't have enough financing lines available. And I believe that is a problem here in Bangladesh due to the current financial crisis. You could say a lot of banking lines are reduced for a lot of companies. And that's where I think we as FMO can really play a role, and due to that, there are a lot of opportunities for us here as well. So we have three sectoral focus: agribusiness that I work for, we have financial institutions, and we have energy. I have to admit, for agribusiness, we currently don't really have any investments in Bangladesh. So we're here working to change that, and we very much look forward to working with more companies here in the future. I think right now the environment is very, very positive. So this is our theory of change, a lot of information. I think what is important to understand is that we invest across the agri value chain, and we do that with a perspective that in 2050 there will be 10 billion people living on this planet, and we want them to live well within the planetary boundaries. So within agribusiness, we have around a 2.1 billion portfolio. Last year, we invested 900 million, which is truly quite a lot. So we partly do that also through syndicated transactions, which can be very, very large. We have about 90 customers. And we invest in agribusiness across 5 themes, you could say. So climate smart agriculture, such as, for example, drip irrigation, or we might do a rice project, and ideally there's an element of reducing methane emissions there, or forestry and nature-based solutions, smallholder inclusion, so we very much focus on rural livelihoods, and next to that there's a value chain optimization. Sometimes it can be a bit boring, but the climate impact can be huge if you provide more energy efficient equipment, and it can also improve export revenues or reduce import costs. And next to that, we really promote food access and try to reduce food waste. So what do we as FMO offers? That's maybe even the most important question here. So we typically provide longer term CapEx that can be up to 10 years. Typically that is really not available by the local financial sector. We can also offer medium tenor working capital. Next to that, what's interesting is the syndication part. If we work with a party that we've been working on for a while, that it has a lot of financing needs, we can bring together other impact investors from Europe. We have a huge network for that, and also outside of Europe, and we can really lead a syndicated transaction and bring a lot of capital together to a corporation. And next to that, we also offer blended finance opportunities. So, and we do that while working with a lot of partners, and one of those partners is actually here in the room right now. That's SMV and Alex Downs. And yeah, I'll mention a bit more about him. I think he presents after this, but what we typically look at before we provide financing is a positive track record of a company of at least 3 years. All our investments need to be in emerging markets. We're a bit different than Invest International, which really focuses on Dutch companies, but for us the focus is really on local companies or companies in emerging markets with a broader scope. And what is very important for us is that there's a willingness to continuously improve environmental and social management issues and risks. And in order to do that, we have a number of policies that a company needs to comply with. There's also an exclusion list. We, for example, won't finance coal or a lot of other things. Alcohol is also prohibited, even though that's not a problem here, but the exclusion list is online for you to see. Or minimum ticket sizes are around 10 million USD, but we can go a lot larger. And our exposure can be a maximum of 25% of the balance sheet. And the purpose typically is really CapEx, can be working capital. We won't really finance any M&A transactions or things like that. The idea really is to develop something or to really encourage a sector to grow. That's an overview of our portfolio in Asia. And then on blended finance, we manage a number of programs for actually both the Dutch government, but also for the UK government. One of those programs is the DFCD. Alex works for that right now. I actually started my career at FMO, working for 3 years on this fund. And what's very special about it, and Alex will probably tell you more about that, is that we really co-manage that. And Alex is a local team here on the ground that really helps with scouting projects and is able to provide grants and technical assistance and to make that investment ready for FMO. And for us, that's really useful that there is a kind of a local on-the-ground scout that is also able to verify the reputation of different companies that SNV DFCD works with. And there are a number of other funds that are focused on financial inclusion or really more on infrastructure or forestry. So when we talk about ESG, one of the most important framework for us is the IFC performance standards. This is used by a lot of other DFIs as well. And so what we really look at is things like labor standards, but also community. We look at cultural elements. And whenever we assess a company needs to also really adhere to these minimum standards at least and be willing to improve on that. And finally, we can also offer technical assistance. And that's kind of a grant-based approach. So my role is to really focus on commercial opportunities. But with technical assistance, we can also support a company if it's willing to contribute a little bit of funding itself on a lot of impact-focused themes. So that can be related to gender, but it can also be related to climate, or can be related to improving governance. So that was actually my presentation. I'll skip this way too crowded slides. And unless there are any questions, can I hand it over to Alex, or?
I think what we'll be doing after the remarks made by our panelists, we will have the question and answer session. So, and as I mentioned, that you can send your questions to us if you have any. So we'd like to wait if you have any questions. Thank you very much. We have another speaker, Mr. Alex Downs, Regional Investment Officer, DFCD. May I request you to please you. And may I request the Honorable Deputy Head of Mission to join us on this stage podium.
All right. So thanks, everyone. I would like to start on the presentation for the DFCD. So the DFCD starts for the Dutch Fund for Climate and Development. I'd like to ask a question before I begin here. How many people in the room are with a company that are looking to raise capital? Is there anyone in the room? I do see some hands. That's a good sign. Okay, so you're in the right room. The Dutch Fund for Climate and Development is a development program where we seek to de-risk and develop bankable projects. So one of the things you want to think about is for Bangladesh is highly climate vulnerable. There's lots of storms, there's flooding, there's also dry periods, and those periods are changing. So sometimes there's more flooding and even more droughts. So if we look at where capital needs to go, we can see certain very interesting patterns. We can see here the need for agriculture is quite high, and also the need for infrastructure is quite high. And I think this was highlighted by some of the topics from the prior panelists, such as the need for equipment and other ways to mitigate risks. How does the DFCD work? So this here is a look at where projects start. So typically when you see a project, you'll see NGOs on the far left. So someone has an idea or they need support, you see a lot of interaction from the NGOs. And on the other side of the spectrum, you see pure private investment. But in the middle, there can be a gap. So many people in the room may be trying to raise capital, but they can get stuck. When a company gets stuck with raising capital, it can lead to this valley of death, this red line down below. So what's the solution? If we look here, what we've done is we've put together two different pieces. This is blended finance. Yeah. So the yellow box is called the origination facility, but it's a pool of capital which is grant money and also technical assistance. The goal is to leverage the yellow box to get to the blue box. And the blue box is the land use facility or the water facility. So specifically, that's FMO or climate fund managers. And then you can change the valley of death into the valley of opportunity, right? So getting that additional support. How does this work? We would try to identify companies that are near bankable. So these are typically not startups, but these are companies that have moved along a bit and they have some traction in the market, but they still have some issues with getting capital. That's when we would come in and we would work either WWF or S&V to provide some additional support. And the goal is to then hand them over to FMO, climate fund managers, or in some cases a third party. So you can see that FMO and S&V, we work closely together. So. Also, you'll see here different sectors. So we work in agriculture, forestry, and also water projects. So those are the key areas where we can work. And then to talk through how the yellow box works, this origination, is you'll see we provide grant money plus technical assistance to create a bankable project. So that's the way that we're operating. And the typical project, just to give specific numbers to people in the room, is between 100,000 and 500,000 per project. And then we look to co-work with the companies. And if anyone has questions on this, after the presentation, please feel free to ask questions and we can make more clear. What are the criteria that we look at? We're looking for projects that address climate change. That's one of the key requirements. And then we're looking to align with national policy. So one of them, as you heard today, was improving in the agriculture front and also access to market. And then this one, I've only got 2 more slides to go, but you'll see food and nutrition security is a key one for us. Of course, climate adaptation, but there are areas that we might not touch on that are also quite important for us, such as biodiversity. The Bangladesh has the Sundarbans. This is a highly relevant biodiversity belt. It's an area we would have keen interest in. And then the last one, I think also equally important with the others, is Jesse. How do we mobilize gender and how do we create a very inclusive society? So these are also high priorities for us as well. This is the last slide I'm going to share, but it gives you an idea of what we look at. So 100% of our projects have a gender equality component and social inclusion. 90% of them are climate change adaptation. And then we seek to focus at least 25% in biodiversity. So thank you very much for your time on this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Great. Oh.
Thank you. Can you just wait here? Can anyone put some chairs on the? Can you share it about it? Yeah, so this will now be the question and answer session. I will also request Mr. Prasanth to come over to the stage again. Mr. Alex, would you be here also? I'm sorry, Mr. Ricord. Yeah. I got it right? Yeah. Did I? Okay. So this is now the question and answer session. I hope either you can send us some questions, or if you would like to ask question directly. It seems like you made so distinct presentation that everybody is convinced,
Thank you very much, Alex, for your wonderful presentation. Just one thing, my name is Dr. Day. I am working as a academician and also working for research work, mostly climate and adaptation and sustainable development like this. So my query to you, first, how we can apply the way of application for getting grant funding like this. So what is the way?
I think
This is one, and then how we can do collaboration like this, and then your expertise or our expertise, we can work together. What is the way? Thank you very much.
Who your question refers to both of them?
Yeah, just Alex is the
Alex.
is right. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you for the question. It's a really good one. So basically what we do is we try to work with private sector companies, but also there's an ecosystem of partners as well. So typically we will look for a company that is in, let's use agri-processing as an example, and a company that's looking to move further into climate change, climate adaptation areas. Maybe it's introducing new seeds, better breeds, introducing machinery. There's a whole range of areas that can make Bangladesh more climate resilient. In those areas, we try to identify those partners and then work out a way that we can de-risk them and leveraging the grant money to do that. Typically, it requires some co-investment. So usually, the company will contribute anywhere from 50% to 25%, depending on the company. And then the DFCD will match that grant money, or up to 75%. The second piece that I think is important, so this is working directly with a company. There's a second piece that's equally important, is there's a lot of ecosystem partners probably in the room as well. So maybe someone has IoT partnerships, or they also have been working on genetic material. We can also try to holistically think how we can partner people in. So I think that's also part of the thinking process.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the brilliant presentations. My name is Shohidul Islam. I'm just representing Syngenta Bangladesh Limited. As you know, the Syngenta is a global multinational company based in Switzerland. I have specific questions regarding the FMO. That brilliant talks regarding ESG. I'm also working in the sustainability and ESG issues. That my questions is arise. Is it ESG is mandatory for the organizations in the Dutch for getting the loan?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes. Is it ESG is mandatory for the companies?
ESG, yeah, that's a minimum for us.
Is it minimum what are the minimum requirement for getting the ESG for the Dutch companies? What minimum standards?
Yeah, for us, the very minimum standard is that there's that the company applies to the rules of the country. And then next to that, if you look at the IFC performance standards, there is a whole list of requirements. I'm in the commercial team, so I'm not an expert on that. But what we typically do is on almost every transaction, we onboard an ENS specialist from FMO. And then oftentimes we also hire a consultant that helps investigate what type of local ENS issues there might be. So we can really look into the administration of wages, whether that's on par to ensure that there's not too much overtime. We can really do a thorough check on health and safety to ensure that there's no fire hazards. All those elements, we need them to be at least at the minimum standard, and the company needs to be willing for it to really reach international standards. That's what we're looking for.
Yes, thank you very much. I have one more question regarding the Alex. I have seen that one of the fund that you are providing biodiversity, the biodiversity fund, that we are working for the pollinator safety, especially for the bee protections of Bangladesh who don't have any plan or loan in these connections. If we connect, say for example, Syngenta Bangladesh connect to your organizations, is there any facilities that you are in a position to provide?
So the question is, are we linking on biodiversity? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I go to that question, just to finish the thought here that you asked with Rick. So sometimes the DFCD is also involved with some of the ESG support with the companies. So there's a natural linkage there. So I just want to highlight that. In biodiversity, I'd like to start with a case example. So recently, the DFCD began to work with a company in Indonesia called Forest Carbon to do carbon credit. And it's actually quite a sizable project. So we are quite actively looking at biodiversity. And I think for Bangladesh, there's a big opportunity for biodiversity. Like the Sundarbans is such a, an opportunity that's there. It's an area where we'd like to explore and then replicate what we're doing maybe in other countries here. And I guess that would be my key point is we can take best practices that we're learning, come to Bangladesh and then build on those. So we're quite keen to look at the Sundarbans, but there's other areas in Bangladesh as well, not just the Sundarbans. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Nurul Alam. Actually, just I started my agrotech business like hydroponic or aquaponic, but I'm facing some problem to start the export in the market at a different destination in the world. And is there any opportunity and any advisory rule from FOMO that if we can onboard with us and we can introduce our company in the world to expedite or expand our export proceed in the world? Is there any advisory or any facilities you have? Thank you.
So that is not truly our expertise. Like we're, in essence, we're a financial institution that provides financing. But what we can do is introduce companies to comparable clients of ours. That's what we often do, so that clients learn from each other, that they learn about the markets and export opportunities. And we also organize events. But that's not our core focus as a bank. But thank you for the question.
Hi. Hello. I'm Dash. Actually, I'm engaged in the shrimp processing and shrimp farming. We are in the business for the last 38 years. Bangladesh is just in the transformation of especially Bangladesh was doing the pure culture of the black tiger. So as long as our productivity is still 300 kilos per hectare, because all our farmers are very much strict with the extensive cultures. So just 2 years before, Bangladesh started the venomous farming, and I'm privileged to say that I introduced the venomous farming in Bangladesh. So based on my company result, government finally approved the venomous farming in Bangladesh. So my question is that, like we saw that, like at this moment, we are talking about almost 200,000 hectares of land is using for the shrimp farmings. And our productivity is only 300 kilos. If you see our export, it is regularly declining. The best time we have been doing 550 million, maybe 10 years before, now we are doing only 300 millions, maybe less. So is what we feel, I am not a technical guy, but we feel that transforming to the venomous farming for our farmers will be a climate resilience product to grow more, to ensure more protein for the local people, as well as to earn more export for the country also. So in that case, because I already start doing 110 acres of farming, but I need more fund to scale up these things. So really DFCD or FMG, they can help in this regard or not. And also I came late, sorry for that. That's why I missed the presentation also, and where I will get the presentation also.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So FMO has invested in quite a few shrimp projects internationally. We also understand that right now the shrimp market internationally is quite tough because shrimp prices are quite low because venomous farming is so efficient and effective. So that has really reduced, because of the technological innovation there, the price of venomous shrimp farming. Whether there is more appetite for FMO to invest in shrimp farming right now, I'm not sure. It really depends on the case. That's my honest answer. Like I think there is a huge opportunity for shrimp here in Bangladesh. but we do need to find the right business case.
Thanks for your kind answer. And it is not something like that I need the answer right now. But I just want to supplement here. We have almost 180 million people in a small country. And if you see our local market here, our shrimps are selling in the domestic market in the highest prices compared with any higher places in the world. So not even talking about the export, because we have a huge gap, we have a huge demand. We are a fully protein-based nations because we are not the nations like India where a huge amount of people is the veg. So what we are seeing here, because I think last year I produced 100 tons, I did not bring these goods for my exports. I simply sold it in the local market, and I compared this price with the Ecuador and India, and Bangladesh domestic price is simply maybe 30% higher than any of the country of the world. So there's the things I just want to supplement. There is opportunities there because we have a ready domestic market here. So, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just respond to this. So I think from our side, and this is true for anyone in the room, if anyone has a business and they're working on things, we're happy to talk with you. We'll give out cards. Also, Mahin is here. Mahin is our local presence. Yeah, so in the back. So please also reach out to Mahin. But we're happy to talk with any of the companies, and we know companies are at different stages and doing different things. Not everything will fit the DFCD, but some might. But even if you don't fit the DFCD, there may be other programs. And I think it's highlighted in this event today, the Dutch linkage is quite deep and quite broad. Whether it's Invest International, FMO, the DFCD, or other linkages, I think you can clearly see that those are there.
Am I audible? Yeah, great. So thank you very much for being here. My question is to Alex and Rix. So we appreciate all the good works DFCD is doing under Alex's leadership across the Asia with FMO support. So just to add to that, the question, maybe more clarity will come. So in phase 1, you have worked for aggregator model development. So in phase 2, we are hoping that it will come so that SMEs in Bangladesh with a lower ticket size from 2 to 10 million euro can be actually go for DFCD. So is there any update, the aggregator model?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on this one, it's a great question, Mustafa Sir. So on this one, we've had good success with aggregators in Nepal. And just to not use buzzwords so everyone knows what we're talking about, it's investing into an institution that then can do smaller tickets. So in Nepal, we've worked with NMB Bank, which is a long-standing Dutch partner with FMO. And that's actually been quite successful. Have we been able to do that yet in Bangladesh? Not yet, but we are looking. Mahin, you just became very popular. Yes, but reach out to Mahin, and he has business cards. Yeah. And then by email, we have business cards. Email is the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think so.
Anybody else? Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon and good evening, I think. Panelists and ladies and gentlemen. I have just 2-3 questions to you. Before that, self-introduction. I'm Nazmul Islam Chaudhary, innovator and founder Pumpkin Plus. We are working in Chorland, in a sense, dealing with the Delta, with the abandoned people, those who are living on flat protection embankment after losing their home and businesses over 17 times in their life. They are the refugee in a sense. No one is giving credit. No one is funding for them. Nowadays, it is coming. But I'm telling the story 20 years before when I started in 2004. So right now, at the end stage of the summit and end of the day, only one thing I stacked yesterday when our professor was delivering a speech for the global leaders, delegations, and audience. He was crying after 53 years later of our liberation because their daily earning is $1 and below $1 per day. Simultaneously, an alternative dealing with, they were bigger. Within 5 months, they are able to raise their earning $5.
Your question.
I'm coming just $5. So right now, 42,000 women are leading, youth are leading in barren land, sandbars after receiving water during winter. So my question is to the panelists, particularly the Dutch and Dutch government. They have already funded securing water for food and water energy for food. What is your strategic plan to deal with barren people and barren land for productivity and economic growth in future? And how these innovations, this is not commonly found in journals and other areas, how these innovations, which is not explored, still unfold, will be supported? And how can we make barren land, economic growth, and national development in a policy issue and a strategic issue by addressing right now on the ground?
Thank you very much for this very good question, actually. Indeed, I guess there's one thing, what is the Dutch government's plan on Bangladeshi char development? I guess, first of all, the question is, how can the Dutch government unlock the potential of the Bangladeshi IDs? And in that, of course, we have worked already for 70 years in the char development project, where we have given land and land deeds and titles to people who were evicted from the lands due to climate change and were south of Noakhali. They were relocated, and I guess that's 60 kilometers of new land. The polder, at this moment, we have agreement with the Bangladeshi government that we pay 25% and Bangladeshi 75%. So it means it's also part of your national strategy, how to deal with the char and the evicted people from the char development. And indeed, you are working also with us, World Bank, ADB, on the riverine development. We have the Jamuna project where we work, Magna, we're working indeed to keep the chars a bit stable instead of letting people relocate each time and losing their livelihoods. Another topic you touched upon is the quality of soil. And I guess that's one that we have to discuss. Of course, we have done a lot of soil projects and intervention, and we have to talk that with the Ministry of Agriculture as well, and your own ministry, because at this moment when you have smallholders doing very intensive farming on very small plots, you risk a lot on degradation of soils, and you have again the new refugees made by themselves and made by bad information. And I guess this is where we have to cooperate with the Bangladeshi government. And we do work with the University of Wageningen and the Bangladeshi government. We do work with other organizations like SNV in keeping the soil stable when you do farming. Do rotation, do intercropping, keep land idle for some time and not wait when it gets flooded so you get new soil on it, but also be proactive. And I guess that's the challenge we have to take. Thank you.
We can entertain one more question and then we'll have to close the session. And then I will hand it over to the Honorable Deputy Head of Mission. Can anyone take the microphone down there?
Hello. So just listening to one of the earlier questions about investing in shrimp and fish farms. So one thing I just wanted to inquire, although we're a really big fish producing nation, pesticide use in fish farming is quite rampant in our country. So what I want to ask two questions. I'll try to make it super brief. Firstly, for fish exporting from Bangladesh, what do you wish to see from our country from a regulatory point of view? And secondly, I was in a pharmaceutical session earlier on. So our pharmaceutical sector is decades ahead and strides ahead with other competing nations like India, and it's not just because we're cheaper, we're only slightly cheaper. We have many other advantages, but for agricultural manufacturing, be it pesticides, seed production, or whatever you guys see with Bangladesh, what do you see growing in Bangladesh's agriculture for the future, be it in export or whatever it is? Thank you. That will be all.
Well, at this moment, of course, Bangladeshi agriculture is not really accepted in the European Union because of the pesticides and the use of chemicals and the use of all kind of medicines or antibiotics to the fish. Same goes for your chickens as well. I guess one of the problems is the smallholders, and it's a lack of knowledge, and they want to have, and they don't have a long time horizon for. They want to have quick profit. They need it for their families. So I guess restructuring in that sector is needed. We do work with some Dutch companies and some Bangladeshi companies on, like FishTech, on improving fish farming in Bangladesh, make it up to European standards, actually world standards, in order to export more. Because actually, it's not only that we don't want to eat it, but I guess it's also not the Bangladeshi people that should eat the fish. So therefore, we would work together with the Bangladeshi government on pesticide use, on also on quality control, and also keep it control and monitor it. And I guess there's a big challenge still ahead in a country where you have around 10, 15 million farmers, all have a fish pond next to their house and do fish farming and take it as a side income or an extra income. So I guess there will be a real overhaul of the sector if you want to make that up to standard to international. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Ishtiaq. I'm going to answer his question actually. And this is raise some wrong issues. The fish farm in Bangladesh and Shrimp, they are not using any pesticide or herbicide. A lot of people here, those who are farming in this sector. So this is information for you. I've been here in this sector 27 years. So it is strictly prohibited by the regulations, and people don't use any pesticide herbicide. This is my answer to his questions along with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Debashish Sharkari, are you regarding financing issues? And there is, it appears from the nature of questions that there is quite huge demand for finance. And to what extent that you think that Bangladesh Bank can contribute to the process apart from the existing credit policy?
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'm again here. Actually, you know, every year Bangladesh Bank update and publish the agriculture and rural credit policy for the agricultural credit sector. In that sector, 60% of the rural credit is we just instruct the banks to use for the crop production, 13% for the fisheries, and 15% for the livestock. So here, this year, Bangladesh Bank has given the commercial banks a target of 380 billion. That means, I'm telling in Bangla, that 38,000 koti taka, 38,000 crore taka for the agricultural sector. That means every bank have to disperse their agricultural credit by 38,000 crore taka, which is for the bank. How we actually set the target? The target is actually set it by like this, that 2.5% of their total credit exposure should go to the agricultural sector. So, yeah, beside this, there several schemes are being operated by the Bangladesh Bank. From my department, we actually presently running 8,000 crore taka scheme, which are being actually on the reduced rate. And from my SME department, as I earlier told you that 14,000 for 1400 koti taka, 1,400 crore taka is being allocated for the agriculture processing industry. And there are several schemes and money is there. So for the agricultural finance, I think there are lots of opportunity is there in the banking sector. But what do we need? Well, actually, I know I'm in the charge of the agriculture credit department. What I found, basically, I found that my policy is there, everything is there. But these are not actually properly, it is published, but not reached to the proper users. So if you go to my website or collect my agriculture credit policy, then you will find that there are lots of opportunity for the lots of investment opportunity is there. So if you have any question from the part of the central bank, I'm here to answer you. Thank you. Actually, I will request you two things. When you go to my website, you will find a customer complaint CIPC. Okay? You can lodge your complaint there, or I will request, if it is the agriculture related, directly write to me. And I'm ensuring you that immediately I will send my officials to there to find out what's happening. Thank you.
I think we are almost at the fag end of this session. But before I request our Honorable Deputy Head of Mission to make closing remark, I would like to make a few comments. By coming to this, by attending this session and the previous sessions, and the kind of dynamism that I see among the Bangladeshi investors, I feel more encouraged that this country is going to take a huge step in agriculture and agriculture development and agriculture process industry. As a citizen of this country, I'm feeling very, very encouraged, and I must thank the Danish, Netherlands government, and I came to learn from the Honorable Deputy Head of Mission that they have been working with Bangladesh or this part of the country for over 70 years, since 50s, right? Yes, since 50s. So they have been making huge contribution to the development of agriculture sector in Bangladesh. I will request all of you to upload their contribution to the development. Now may I request our Honorable Deputy Head of Mission to make closing remarks.
Does it work? Yeah. Closing remarks. Well, how can I say closing remarks when the discussion is just starting? If I hear it so. This is a bit of a difficult task for me, but indeed, let's say the journey has just begun. Bangladesh is open. Bangladesh is now a country that welcomes investors, and thanks to the new BIDA, we are getting less rules and regulations, and we are really open for investors. We have the MBR also talking openly to you and also wanted to be criticized, which is, of course, a new Bangladesh. What we do see as the Netherlands, at this moment you only see financial institutions in this room because we're talking about finance. But behind them, there are a lot of companies that want to work together with you, but you do need first to also the rules and regulations right. And we saw Nouria's presentation in the first half. Something needs to be done, but I guess with all effort, we can unlock the potential of Bangladesh. And indeed, I would love to have the Bangladeshi sweetwater fish, Bangladeshi shrimp, Bangladeshi mangoes, Bangladeshi bananas everywhere in the Netherlands in my supermarket. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. With this, our session is closed. Thank you. It was my pleasure to meet you.
It was my pleasure to meet you as well. And you did a great job getting people